That's Dorothy Wheeler, right?
Mhm. Okay, so I can't see if anybody else is on there is. I can't see that far.
It was about that
Is
time.
Mike Bell on there or?
Okay,
I'm here. I'm here.
okay. Who is that?
It's me, Bill Wambacher.
Okay, Bill. I'm glad to know you're there. Okay, we'd like to call the meeting of the Peoria Mass Transit District to order. Today is February 14th, 2022. We are located at 2105 Northeast Jefferson Avenue, Peoria, Illinois, 61603. And we will have roll call.
Okay, trustee Wortham,
Present.
trustee Ahart,
Present.
trustee Hare,
Present.
trustee McBride,
President.
trustee Polk.
President.
All right, we have a quorum.
And we will be led in the pledge by Bill.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You okay? Okay, you received the minutes for the January 10th, 2022 meeting. Are there any corrections or additions?
I made a correction, Madam Chair. I did not include Shamrock on the people that were there last time. That's the only thing I changed and added her name onto the front page.
Okay,
That's it.
any other corrections? No corrections? All in favor of accepting the minutes as circulated, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The minutes are accepted. Okay, any communications?
None tonight.
None tonight, okay. Reports from officers in the reports.
I have one, I guess it'd come under report of officers. I attended the Apple Transit Board Members Seminar online. God, I hate those online things.
Okay,
And one day it was Tri-County Regional Planning first. But it opened with it was January 26th for 4 hours and February 2nd for 4 hours. And the seminar opened with statements from APTA leadership, and Jeff Nelson is the APTA chair. He's CEO over at Rock Island and Moline, basically our neighbors. You all seen them one time or another. They did mention that there are over 4,000 individual transit board members in the differing transit districts, and they're either elected or appointed. So there's a whole mass of different ideas and things that become involved because of all the different backgrounds of people. Most of the stuff this time focused on government restrictions and requirements. And they stress that we should get to know our advocates in both DC and our districts and personally reach out to them. And many of the people that were on this committee had started reshaping their districts and made changes to better function as their districts. And one of the most drastic situations involved Monterey, California. And I just thought this was interesting because they had forest fires there that burned down whole communities besides all the other stuff going on. But they started making their plans early and continuing to work and rework those plans to prove more beneficial to all the districts. And many were working on equity for both their employees and their districts. The board and CEO relationships were presented and stressed that communication between all is critical. They stated the board chairs need to be in communication with all board members so that all of us are aware of the issues. So that there's somebody that isn't lost out on something. Board members have strength in different areas, and CEOs need to be made aware of the nuances in the cities and become aware of their boards. Some boards have up to 20 members. And there was a district in Ohio that I believe it has 9 counties involved. But, oh my gosh. Media contact should be through a standardized source and not have individual board members talking to the media. They said if you are contacted, refer the reporter to the media contact so that the district is presented with consistent and current information. This includes budget, financial information. Transit district, not individual board members, are the community's concern. Board chair and board member communication was critical. It was lengthy to say the least.
Yes, it was, I heard it.
But it was good and picked up some things. But the one that just amazed me the most was the district in California that had forest fires also to deal with in lots of communities and routes, and that guy seemed fairly happy, so he's accomplished something. Are there any questions?
Any other reports? Now, did you remember the day for transit board members conference?
No.
I have it in my notes.
I don't
There
remember.
will be a transit board member conference. I think it's in Seattle. I don't quote me, but I was on the 2-day call. It was lengthy. But there is a transit board member conference, and it's really a nice conference. Also, support staff is there with us most of the time, and to have that interaction is really good because support person should meet with those support people, and they show how the communication between the support person and the board members is very important because many times if you choose to be an officer in a big way, that support person is the one that you work through to get everything done. Transit board members are on committees for APTA. And I'm just saying it. Do you feel guilty? Do you need to be something?
No.
You need to be on, but there are a lot of committees. APTA has a lot of committees, and they try to have a transit board member on all their committees. There's a lot of travel involved with that, and if you have any questions, I would like to sit down and talk to you about that. I have tried it before. It is a lot of work, and they expect a lot of travel when you're on those committees. I'm presently on the executive committee of the transit board members.
Sharon, you've been on that, haven't you?
Yes,
And traveled here and far and near and wide and.
yes,
All
it's a lot
kinds
of travel.
places. The one thing that I found difficult, and we talked to whoever was president then about it, was the fact that it was geared towards the bigger districts. And it was hard to get switched over, but we did it. I forget who was with me, but she was kind of pushy too, so.
Who was that?
That wasn't you.
Okay, okay.
Maxine, is that part of the Transform Conference in Seattle?
Yes. It will be, it is in Seattle, and,
That's where the yearly conference is.
yes. And really, Sharon has been on the APTA board and executive board.
Yeah,
And-
the transit board members.
Yes, and I've been on the big one once, but they do require travel, but I tell you what, if you do participate, there's a lot of learning to be had. We are a small district, but some of the districts are so large that each of the board members have secretaries because they're very large districts. Something to get acquainted with.
Some of them have 15 and 20 board members.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any other communications?
I have a
Okay.
report from my standing.
Okay.
committee. I just want to say, I am really excited about the ADA committee. We had a great month.
Okay,
I've been in contact with lots of people. Our meeting was phenomenal. We had representatives from the city of Peoria. We had, and I don't know how to say her last name, Jamie from IDOT. Blatty.
Mhm.
And so we have decided that we're going to have our ADA community event on July the 26th. It will be from 5 to 7. We're going to try to get the Civic Center. We are looking for sponsors that might be willing to, give us money to help us do this. All of the committee members have committed to having their organizations have booths there. We're looking for vendors and other partners that we're going to have. It's going to be a tremendous event. We want it to be publicized citywide. And since we have our mayor on board, and we're just really excited. Everybody is thinking outside of the box. We did give out Valentine's at the beginning of our meeting to put everybody in the right mood.
Okay.
So we will be asking you to help as we move along. We'll think of things for you to do to help us out. If you know of any organizations that have money that are willing to participate and be sponsors, we'd love to know that. Just let me know. Emily and I are going to be working really closely on making a letter. Doug has volunteered to meet with some of our higher echelon authorities here in the city to see how they want to participate with us. So we are going to have a wow event, thanks to Angel giving us the phrase of wow event. So everybody think of wow as we move forward, and we're just really over the moon. The other thing the committee did get to happen is that all of our customers are going to be treated to free rides when we do the customer appreciation event on April 20th. To remember that March 4th is the Transportation Employee Appreciation Day. March 18th is the Driver Appreciation Day. So just when you see a driver, or just say hi, and we appreciate what you do, just to remember them. And I did get information from the APTA Racial Equity Committee.
Okay.
So I have stepped up.
Mhm.
And so I will give you more information on that after we meet at the
Okay.
end of this.
Very good.
So that would be my report.
That should be a very good committee, because you get people from all over.
Everywhere,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay. Any other reports? General Manager, like to give your report?
Good evening.
Good evening.
A few of the things that we've been busy on is reporting to the state and the feds and everybody that wants to report. I think we finally finished up the NTD, National Transit Database report. It's an annual event. We submitted our first round of questions for the triennial review. This will be the first time that they've done that kind of virtually.
Oh.
When we got through that, we finished up a 5310 report with the state. I heard we've got a 5307 report due one of these days for them. So Christine, her staff, and some of the others have been busy with reports and more reports. So
Could you kind of
everybody will
just
know everything
explain the
about it.
triennial to, we have new board members, what that is? The
Yes.
triennial review?
Yeah, usually a couple, I don't know how they're gonna do that this year, because they're not gonna be on site. Usually they bring people on site and talk to them, and haven't heard how they're gonna do some of that this year, time around.
Okay. Well, when you find out,
Yeah,
let us know.
I will keep you posted and see who the lucky winners are that gets to talk
Yes.
to.
I think they try to talk to everybody, won't they?
Yeah,
Okay.
last time they did, but they came in on
Oh, yeah.
site, so.
Okay.
I haven't got any dates on when they're gonna be here or when the next round is, or they're reviewing all our material right now. A few weeks ago, I was in Washington DC for Bus Coalition, Board of Directors retreat, and we did meet virtually with the FTA director. So there's some new programs coming out with the new funding that's coming out, and so we were trying to get a handle on what's gonna be required by us, so it was a good meeting. Washington DC though is like a ghost town, so it'll be interesting to see what it's like when the legislative conference in middle of March looks like. Next week I'll be in Tucson for a couple days for a transit summit, meeting with some board members or general managers of other properties and then some vendors. So we did have a slight uptick in ridership. We were up about 5% in ridership last month, so finally going up. So I'm anxious to see where that all ends up. And then later this week, we will have, I think Wednesday it's due, a response to TransDev on their request. So, and that's all I have on my report.
Now, are you doing the new facility update?
I will do the new facility update. It's pretty short and sweet, so that's why they let me handle it tonight.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
They,
Oh.
said finance team members have virtual teams meetings with Transdev finance staff, Bart and Elena. Who are they?
They are Transdev Finance Department.
Oh, okay.
Because they have issue with their bill and they want to discuss with us. So
Okay.
we have a question, they answer.
I thought we had some new people hanging around.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
All right. Are you controlling the screen? All right, and I don't have to. Yeah, so basically they're finishing or up some stuff inside the new paint booth, body shop. They got concrete poured. They're putting in the mechanical and AC and vents and working on the restrooms. And so I think in there later on, yeah, got the electrical conduit and getting all that stuff put in. And I think they were about 50%. I thought I saw something. They thought they were about 50% done on the inside. We were gonna set up cameras in there. Yeah, 50% complete on phase A. And it was just taking too long to get the time-lapse camera set up, so. And by this point, all the major work's done, so we're just skip that. Can you go back one, Chris, please? We did have a bid opening on January 20th for the rest of the phases. What we have found out though is IDOT had some new people in place or they've got some new people. They've finally hired a new director. But staff had been working with us on some concurrences and some things, and they just have to slow down and take a step back. So part of our funding is still in place, but we had to take a step back and get some concurrences and resend emails and resend stuff that the state already had. So that's kind of slowing down the project a little bit as far as the bids that we let out. So we're hoping to have them at the March 21st meeting, but if not, it'll be at the April board meeting. So we just have to let them catch up with us. Everything they've seen so far is okay, but they're in a stack of stuff that everybody else is submitting to. So, and I think that was about it.
Any questions? Any questions about new facility update? Okay, thank you. TransDev, Ms. Angel.
Use your inside voice. Talk loud.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, in addition to what you already have in front of you, I just kind of give some highlights. Our on-time performance is at 89%. It's still obviously not where we want it to be, but we are finally starting to see an uptick in applicants and qualifying applicants. So that's very exciting. We had about 6, actually now 7 new drivers since December. One just graduated last week. We have one that started class today. And hopefully next week, if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, we should have a class of another 4. So keep plugging along until we get where we need to be. We were fully staffed in management in January. However, we are now seeking a maintenance manager. Our maintenance manager is moving on to bigger and brighter things in the cold of Michigan. So we are actively seeking someone to replace him. I have 2 interviews scheduled for that this week, but we haven't really seen a lot of interest in the position. So we're doing a nationwide recruiting as well as several different local avenues as well. In safety and training, active looking and safely securing passengers and mobility devices was our topic. All of our new tablets have been received and have been programmed and are in use. Fortunately, they were the same size as our old tablets, so we were able to reuse some of the tablet holders. Some of them are kind of falling apart, but we also just received the tablet mounts to put inside the vehicles to hardwire them in. So right now we're working with Steve's group just to make sure they're going in the right spot that you guys are happy with, that our drivers are happy with, it's safe, all of that. So hopefully here in the next few weeks we'll start getting those fully installed. As far as COVID, we have seen a very sharp decrease in staff cases. It kind of ebbs and flows. We may have 4 people out, then we have 0 out. Last week we had a few really amazing days and some that were not so amazing, but we're just going to keep plugging away and get done what we have to get done. I do want to say real quick, even though this is a February thing, I'm extremely proud of my drivers and my dispatchers and my maintenance staff because over the snowstorm, as you know, CityLink closed down on Wednesday and we did not. We continue to provide transportation services for our dialysis and medical riders. It was slow going, but they all got their treatments and dialysis and us are very, very good partners. They kept us informed of everything. We kept them informed of everything. We may not have had a lot of trips that day, but I got every single one of them that wanted a trip, and safely, not one accident. We had to pull a couple people out, but nothing too drastic. Basically slow and steady, and I feel won the race on those 2 days in terms of that. So, very good job to my staff for showing. I mean, they didn't have to show up, and they did. So I was really proud of them. Outside of that, nothing else too much to report, unless you have any questions.
Any questions, anyone? Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment?
Is Karen Schwarbach on the line?
I think I see Karen. Okay. Hello, Karen.
No, that's Dorothy.
No, that's scary.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, hi,
Hi.
Karen. Okay.
You have some public comments?
I do. Did Dorothy get a letter from my son that she was going to read?
We don't know. I asked her this morning, and as of this morning, she didn't have it. So I do not know yet. She's number 2 behind you though today.
Oh shoot, she should have gone number 1. Well, I am a concerned parent. I have a son who rides your system. He's been doing it for about 4 years now. We have him set up in an apartment that is on your bus route. We picked that apartment because of the bus route and his access. He's fully functional as in working, but the bus system, the bus service is going to change their route, which is going to be very detrimental to my son, along with the other people that live in his apartment complex. They all very much depend on the bus. For him for any of them now to get to the bus stop, they actually have to walk down Candle Tree that has no sidewalks. Then they have to go down University, a 4-lane that has no sidewalks, cross at Pioneer that has no crossing light or sidewalks, and then get to the other side in order to get a bus stop to be able to ride a bus from where they all live at now. So I'm very concerned about all the people that are living in that apartment complex and how they are going to continue using your bus system, but considering not many of them have cars that live there. And of course, he's visually impaired and walks with a cane. So he does depend on your system, and the drivers are very good to him, know him by name. He uses it that much to get to all his jobs. He works 3 different jobs to make ends meet. And I'm just a very, very concerned parent. And I know that Dorothy had a letter from him that he wrote.
I didn't get the name of the complex. What's the name of the complex?
The Grove.
The Grove.
Yes, it's on Candle Tree. It's right off Pioneer and University.
Okay, I'm just, okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Dorothy, are you on the line?
Yes,
Dor-
I'm here.
okay,
Can you hear me?
we can hear
I'm
you.
here.
Okay,
Okay. I have the letter that I'm going to read from Evan. It says, letter to the CityLink Board of Directors. To start, I have still been at work for all these meetings, so I am exceedingly grateful that someone was willing to read this letter in my stead. First of all, I am legally blind and rely on the bus system to buy multiple jobs. I intend to contribute to society rather than just take handouts. I moved to the Grove Apartments on Candle Tree because the accessibility of the bus to get to the two jobs and the proximity of my third job allowed me to thrive independently. The proposed changes to this bus route on the university route would not only amplify my distance to a bus route, but force me and all other residents of the apartments to walk in the street regardless of weather. To catch the inbound bus, one must cross University at Pioneer Parkway, which does not have accessible site crosswalks. This is incredibly unsafe for all, especially those with disabilities. My next qualm is with the poor dissemination of information on these changes. Once I had finally caught word of these proposed changes, I spoke with CityLink officials, and though my blindness had been clearly covered already, I was informed that sandwich boards and posters had been all over. Inaccessibility made that point rather moot. Not to mention, I have spoken with several fellow riders at the Candle Tree stop, asking them about their thoughts and the proposed changes, and many, including an older woman who has to walk with support with a cane, had no idea changes were even an option. Those forcing the changes may feel informed, but the public most certainly is not. If more people knew, even more complaints would be present. I agree with that. My next issue is with my perceived errors in logic with these proposed changes. People in Peoria do not ride the bus out of convenience. We ride it out of necessity. In Chicago, people may forego a car because of the thorough coverage of public transportation. But here in the Peoria area, we are taking the bus because through whatever circumstances we have to. There are not riders to come out of the woodwork because buses are running less accessible routes more often. To make the logic more objective and explicit, I was told by CityLink officials over the phone that only 1% of riders would be affected by these changes. And while 1% is easily to shrug off, the statistic is clearly flawed. As individual riders could not be tracked, discrete mathematics dictates that the statistic, let's see here, I lost my place, sorry about that. The statistic presented would be 1% of total rides. As riders mostly take multiple buses with transfers and return trips, this 1% suddenly turns into far more actual riders. I, for example, take 6 buses a day, very often getting between jobs. 2 of these being the university bus to get downtown and back home. This automatically creates a range tripling the impact of this proposed change, and that's just for me. Now, since the last large study was performed in 2019 for copious amounts of money, when many of the hired counters were not doing their job, I may add, the Grove Apartment and Candle Tree Loop did not have the same demographics. Subsequent research would have revealed that many of the Section 8 families who formerly lived at Taft homes have moved to Candle Tree. These recent developments further exhiberate the negative ramifications of these proposed changes, where it just me being affected, I could take it on the chin as I have in many other parts of my life. but those proposed changes would have larger reaching consequences than are being admitted through CityLink staff. Whether through witful or accidental ignorance, I pray it has been the latter, and that this argument has been received with the concern and respect I intended to convey. I will end with a sincere plea. Please consider the large impact this will have on the public whose livelihoods depend on the accessibility of this system, and please survey the bus drivers for their earnest opinions and take them to heart. Thank you for your time. Signed, Evan Charles Sherrock. And I really hope you take his letter into consideration and do some deep thinking.
Okay. Is there anyone else for public comment?
That's it, Maxine.
Okay, well, thank you both for your comments. We do have a policy that you will get a written answer within 5 business days. So you will be answered, and we thank you for your comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Written book.
Okay. Any old business? None, right? So new business. I see we have resolution 2226, and that will be Doug, right?
This is a resolution to authorize the renewal of the current contract with Gallagher Bassett Services for claims administration service of its worker compensation program from March 1st, 2022 to February 28th, 2023. Basically, it's $7,666 for administrative services. And then they charge us $249 per medical claim, $1,800 for indemnity claim, and then $34 for each incident claim. So it would be us to ask you to approve this resolution.
Okay. In the amount of what?
Yeah, it's kind of a rolling amount.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, but this is our workman's comp, right?
yeah, it's, we've had them for ever since I've been here. So.
So can I get a
I'll
motion?
make a motion. I'll second it.
Second, roll
Second.
call vote,
Make it. Trustee Wortham,
approve.
trustee AR,
Approved.
trustee, I always blank out on your first.
Aaron's.
Approved. First time I call it. Trustee Paul, approved. Trustee McBride, approved.
Okay,
I always do that.
okay. Next will be resolution 2227. That's all, that's Mr. Green, I'm sorry. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
The purpose of this summary is to recommend the award of a transit bus tire lease to Bridgestone America Tires. We issued an invitation for bid requesting sealed bids from qualified, responsive, and responsible vendors to provide us a transit bus tire lease. And the bid results were from Bridgestone and Goodyear, with Bridgestone being a lower price. They're our current vendor, and their bid came under what we currently have right now, so it's actually a good thing. We
Okay.
followed state and federal procurement practices. The project is funded 80% federal, 20% local, and asking the board to recommend the approval of the contract with Bridgestone for our tire lease.
Okay, and this is a roll call vote also. Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved in second, roll call vote,
Trustee Wortham,
approve.
trustee Hare.
Approved.
Trustee AR,
Approved.
trustee Paul, approved, and trustee McBride, approved.
Thank you, and you have something else?
Yes, we do.
Resolution 2229. No, 2228, I'm sorry.
27 there.
No, you just did 27, didn't
Oh, you did.
I
I'm
did,
sorry.
28.
My
Okay.
apologies. You're right.
you? Okay, 2228. Thank you.
Yeah, the purpose of this summary is to recommend approval of the purchase of 2 remanufactured diesel engines from CIT Trucks with an option to purchase from Cummings due to availability after this board approval, who has them. The maintenance department is in need of two remanufactured engines for buses 2218 and 2245. These buses are short of meeting useful life requirements required by FTA in years and miles. We have to repair to keep these buses in service. We found two vendors, one is CIT Trucks from Morton and Cummings, that could provide us these engines. CIT Trucks has a low bid of $68,750 for two engines and two core charges. We recommend the Board of Trustees authorize a purchase order with CIT Trucks to purchase two diesel engines. If CIT Trucks does not have two engines in stock after board approval, due to high demand availability, we have an option to purchase from Cummings or a combination of CI Trucks and Cummings to attain these engines. The total cost will not exceed $70,109.86.
So we're asking for authorization to purchase two engines?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wherever they're available.
We'll get our hands on them.
Okay.
Well, two vendors that we work with.
Okay, can I get a motion for approval?
I'll move.
Okay, second? Okay, so this is another roll call vote.
Okay.
All right,
Trustee Wortham,
approve.
trustee Hare,
Approve.
trustee Ahart,
Approve.
trustee Polk, trustee McBride, approve.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Next, we have resolution 2229, and this is by Doug. Okay.
I think I sent out a notice last week or the week before about our successful application with Rebuild Illinois Round 2. We received $11 million. $8 million will be going to the new building. $3 million will be going towards remodel of the transit center under the parking deck. There'll be some signage and redo some concrete and painting and striping and that kind of stuff. So what the state needed from us was a resolution from the board proving that we got the money, I guess, and that we're going to spend it as such.
Approving acceptance of $11 million, right?
That's right.
I think we can do that.
Okay.
Okay, Bill, we don't have to have roll call, do we, on that, just to accept the grant, do we? I can
No,
hear
you don't need a roll call. You don't
Oh.
need a roll call.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve $11 million.
Okay, second.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We will accept the $11 million. Thank you. Okay, next we have a motion to approve moving our March meeting to March 21st because there is that legislative conference that will be in DC. So I need a motion to change our meeting date to March 21st, 2022. Can I get a motion to do so? So moved. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So we will change our meeting date to March 21st, 2022. Okay, next will be our financial report. Ms. Christine King.
Thank you. A small correction, this is January 2022, it's not 21.
Okay.
To summarize, January 2022, our financial activity for your approval. This year, this month, the same thing, we spend a little more money because we have a lot of construction going on. So compared with our projection, we have a 1.05 more than our projection monthly. However, in the future, by the end of the year, and we will classify some of our operating expense to the capital expenditure. So in real, on our book, it's not really actually over that much. Major operating expense for January as the usual, we have a payroll expense, pension, also our health insurance, including our gas B75, OPEC liability, and purchaser transportation service, also including the professional service and other outside service. Therefore, Staff is recommend for approve January total monthly operating expense in the amount of $3,315,436.03.
Got a good motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Second, okay. So, roll call vote,
Really?
Yes.
Trustee Wortham,
approved.
trustee Hare,
Approved.
trustee Ahart,
Approved.
trustee Polk, and trustee McBride.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. At this time, the board will be going into executive session pursuant to 5 Illinois C5 120-2 concerning collective negotiating matters between the district and local ATU 416. So at this time, we will go into executive session. Okay? And right now is that we need to vote to approve the contract that's been negotiated at this time, and this will be voice vote, right?
Oh, it should be, yeah.
Yes, because it is talking about money. So can I get approval, a motion to approve the contract?
Also moved.
A second,
I'll second.
okay? And this will be a
Roll call.
roll call vote, yes.
She.
Mhm.
You've been busy today. Trustee Wortham,
Approve,
trustee Hare,
Approved.
trustee Ahart,
Approved.
trustee Polk, approved. Trustee McBride, you have your contact.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
It's approved. Okay, so our future meetings will be Monday, March the 22nd, 2022, and April the 11th, 2022. And I'll take a motion for.
You got it.
Can I get a second?
For what?
To adjourn the meeting. She didn't let me finish.
She didn't.
Okay. And all in favor of joining the meeting at this time, say
Oh.
aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the candy and the card.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Question.